Okay, good morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. In the last class, we had discussed about the modern periodic table, right? Modern periodic table. Then about certain features of this modern periodic table. Then before entering into the topics, I want to clarify that from chapter 3, the modern periodic law and the present form of periodic table, then the nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100, then periodic trends in properties of elements. These three are the only topics from this chapter for this year. Okay, according to the syllabus, only these three topics are included for this year. This is clear, children? Then we have completed this portion, modern periodic law and the present form of periodic table. Then the nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100. But you need to know certain things related to this modern periodic table that's helpful for learning further chapters. That's why I'm discussing this different blocks, then configuration, electronic configuration, etc. Okay, that's needed for further chapters. This is clear, children. So these are the only portions from this chapter for this term 1. Modern periodic law and the present form of periodic table. Then nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100. Then periodic trends in properties of elements. This periodic trends includes their atomic radius, then ionic radius, ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity, yes. So these are certain periodic trends in the properties of elements. Did you copy this? Tell me yes or no. Yes. Just need to mark in the textbook itself. Okay, no need to write again. Then one more thing, do you want to repeat any topic from second chapter, children? Any doubts? Anyone? Unless, do you want to repeat any topic from second chapter again? Any doubts, clarifications? Please switch on your videos. Tell me. Nothing, right? If you have anything to share, you can please tell me. Okay. If in the WhatsApp, I will repeat the same topic in the next class. It's okay. Okay. Then today we are going to learn about different blocks. It's not included in the syllabus, but you should know about different. Yeah, Anjana, it's okay. Different blocks in the periodic table. I think I just mentioned the different types of blocks in the last class, right? Niranjan, can you tell me which are the different blocks?
S block, P
Yeah.
block, D block, and F block.
Yeah, S block, P block, D block, and F block. Then today we are going to learn more about each type of blocks. Okay, so you can write the heading. electronic configuration and types of blocks. Okay. Electronic configuration and types of blocks. How can we determine different blocks related to the electronic configuration? Emmeline, can you tell me?
SPDF.
Yeah, how can we determine that SPDF related to its electronic configuration or related to electron? Malavika, can you tell me?
Ma'am, the last electron
Very
moves
good.
from
The last electron enters to which subshell, that is considered as its block. Okay, so you have to note this point first. Last electron enters to which subshell or orbital. It is considered as their block. It is considered as their block. If the last electron enters to s orbital or s subshell, it is considered as s block. If last electron enters to p orbital or p subshell, it is considered as p block, like that. So we can start from S block. S block. This is the first one, S block. So here the last electron enters to which subshell or which orbital?
yes.
Yes. So you can write last electron enters to S orbital. Then which are the two groups that comes under this S block? Tell me, which are the two groups? Which are they?
1,
and 2.
2.
Yeah, 1 and 2. Group 1 and group 2. What about their name? Group 1 and 2.
Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals.
Very good. Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Now we are going to check the electronic configuration of some elements from this first and second group. Okay, we are going to check the electronic configuration of first and elements in the first and second group. So we can start from lithium. Lithium. What about the atomic number of lithium? Lithium. Rose. Yeah, tell me. We can't hear you. Yeah, it's 3. Okay. Lithium, its atomic number is 3. Adulya, can you tell me how can we write the electronic configuration of this lithium?
1s2.
1s2, then
2s1.
2s1. So here the last electron enters to s orbital or s subshell. So it is considered as one member in s block, right? So this lithium, it's from the first group. Its configuration is 1s2, 2s1. So the last electron enters to s orbital or s subshell. So it is considered as a member of s block. Then we can write another electronic configuration from group 2. Group 2, beryllium. What about the atomic number of beryllium?
4.
4. Atomic number of beryllium is 4. Mary Angelina, can you tell me the electronic configuration of beryllium? Unmute. Yeah. Tell me. 1s2, then 1s2,
2s.
2s. Yes, 2s2, very good. 1s2, 2s2. So here also this last electron enters to s orbital or s subshell. So this all elements in group 1 and group 2, they comes under the category of s block elements. This is clear? When you look at the electronic configuration of all elements in group 1 and group 2, they comes under the category of s block elements. This group 1, it is known as alkali metals. Then group 2, they are known as alkaline earth metals. This is clear? This is clear, children? Any doubt? Okay, then we are going to discuss certain properties of this S block elements. Okay, certain properties of S block elements. You can write there low ionization energy. We will learn in detail about this ionization energy in the next topic, that in the periodic trends. Now you can write there low ionization energy. I will just explain that term. Ionization energy means the energy required to remove the electron from its outermost shell. Okay, ionization energy is the energy required to remove an electron from its outermost shell. So in the case of this S block elements, their ionization energy is very low. Okay, because only 1 or 2 electrons are there in their outermost shell. If they remove this electrons from their outermost shell, it will be more stable, right? It will be more stable. So here, in the case of S block elements, it has very low ionization energy. You have to remember, ionization energy, it is the energy required to remove the electron from its outermost shell. This is clear? So in the case of S block elements, they have very low ionization energy. That means very small energy required to remove the electron from its outermost shell. This is clear? Yes, right? All of you? Yeah. Then the second property is low melting and boiling point. Low melting and boiling point. Low melting and boiling point. What do you mean by melting point and boiling point? The temperature at which liquid starts boiling, it is known as boiling point. The temperature at which solid starts melting, it is called melting point. So in the case of this S block elements, group 1 and 2, they have very low boiling point and low melting point. Okay, this is clear? Then they are electropositive elements. Electropositive elements. Electropositive elements. What do you mean by electropositive? Electropositive.
Lose electrons.
Yeah, Adulya, tell me.
Lose electrons.
Not clear for me. Once again.
Lose electrons.
Yeah, loose electrons are there. So they are ready to donate electrons. You have to remember one point. If someone donates something, they will be considered as positive, right? So in the case of these S block elements, they are ready to donate electrons. So they are considered as electropositive. Clear? They are electropositive in nature. They are ready to give their or donate their outermost electron. So they are electropositive in nature. So they are electropositive elements. Then they are ionic. Ionic. What do you mean by ionic? You have learned 2 types of bond in 10th. Do you remember? Ionic bonding and covalent bonding, right? Ionic bonding and covalent bonding. In the case of ionic bonding, what happens? One element will donate electron and other will be accept electron. In the case of covalent bonding, sharing of electrons take place. So here in the case of S block elements, they are ionic in nature. That means donating. They will donate electrons. Clear? Ionic, then they are colorless. Most of these elements in S block, they are colorless. Low ionization energy, low melting and boiling point, electropositive elements, they are ionic, they are colorless. Okay. Then they are generally metals. They are generally metals. This is clear, children? These are the properties about S block elements. Low ionization energy, low melting point, low melting and boiling point. Then electropositive elements, they are ionic in nature, they are colorless, they are generally metals. Okay, then you have to note one more point. This metallic character and reactivity. Metallic character and reactivity. It increases. Metallic character and reactivity increases as we go down the group. As we go down the group. Group 1 and group 2, as we go from the top to bottom, this metallic character and reactivity will be increases. That's it. This is clear? Switch on your videos. Then we are going to discuss about P block elements. Okay, P block elements. Before learning P block elements, Abhinav, can you tell me any two properties of S block elements? Any two properties?
They are low ionization energy.
Yes. Then
Then the electropositivity.
yeah. Okay, that's it. That's enough. Okay, then Eva, can you tell me any two properties of this S block elements?
They are colorless and they are generally metals.
Yeah, colorless, then they are generally metals. Then what about the groups that comes under this S block elements, Anne Mary?
Group 1 and 2.
Yeah, group 1 and 2. What's the name of group 1 and group 2, Jacob? Yeah, alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Now we are going to learn about P block elements. You can write P block elements. So here the last electron enters to which subshell? Tell me, last electron enters to?
P subshell.
Yeah, P subshell or P orbital. P subshell or P orbital. Then do you remember which are the groups that comes under this category, P block elements?
3 to 12.
Is it 3 to 12 or 13 to 18?
13 to
Yeah, it's P block, right? So it's from 13 to 18. Group 13 to 18. Okay, group 13 to 18. which is the 18th group known as 18th group. They have a common name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noble.
Yes, very good. Noble gases or inert gases. Or inert gases. Then what about 17th group?
Halogen.
Halogens. Very good. Halogens. Sarah, what about 16th group? 16th group? Yeah.
Chalcogens.
Which one?
Chalcogens.
Chalcogens. Okay. Chalcogens. So from group 13 to group 18, they belongs to this category P block elements. And this 18th group is known as noble gases or inert gases. Then 17th group, it is known as halogens. Then 16th group is known as chalcogens. So these all groups comes under the category of P block elements. Then we are going to check the electronic configuration of this elements. You can write the electronic configuration of oxygen. Oxygen. John Joes, can you tell me the electronic configuration of oxygen?
Ma'am, 1s2,
1s2,
2s2,
2s2,
2p4.
yeah, 2p4. Because the atomic number of oxygen, it is 8. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Here also the last electron enters to p subshell, right? Last electron enters to p subshell. That's why these elements belong to the category of p block elements. Then we can try one more example. Chlorine. Chlorine. Tom, can you tell me the configuration of chlorine? What about the atomic number? Atomic number. Yeah, it's 70. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So here also the last electron enters to p subshell or p orbital. So this group 7 is group 17. This chlorine is the member of group 17, halogens. Okay, and this oxygen is the member of group 16, chalcogens. These all comes under the category of p block elements. Is this clear? Any doubt?
No.
Okay. Then we are going to learn the properties of this p block elements. Properties of p block elements. Have you completed the slide, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the properties. They are known metals. They are generally known metals. P block elements, they are generally non-metals. But there are certain metals and metalloids there. But we are considering this P block elements generally as non-metals. Okay. Generally, they are considered as non-metals. Then they are electronegative in nature. Electronegative in nature. What do you mean by electronegative? What will be their role in bonding? Yeah?
They gain electrons.
Yes, very good. They gain or accept electrons. Okay. They are gaining or accept electrons. So they are considered as electronegative elements. Electronegative elements. When they involved in bonding, they will accept electrons or they will gain electrons. So they are considered as electronegative elements. Then here they form covalent compounds. Covalent compounds. What do you mean by covalent? Covalent.
They share electrons.
Yeah, they share electrons. In bonding, they will share electrons. So these p block elements, they can able to form covalent compounds. That's it. This is clear? So these are the properties of p block elements. They are non-metals, electronegative elements, form covalent compounds. Then this S block and P block. S block and P block elements together known as representative elements. Representative elements. Or main group elements. Representative elements or main group elements. S block elements and P block elements together known as representative elements or main group elements. This is clear, children? Then one more question there. Why this group 18 elements are known as noble gases or inert gases? What's the peculiarity of this group?
They don't react.
They did not react, right? That means they have completely filled orbital. Okay, completely filled orbital. So they will not take part in any chemical reaction. They are already stable. You have to remember this point. Okay, noble gases, they generally did not take part in any chemical reactions because they are stable. They have completely filled outermost shell. This is clear? And all other elements, they involved in chemical bonding or reactions to get stability, right? Either by donating electrons or accepting electrons or by sharing electrons. But in the case of this noble gases or inert gases, they are stable because they have completely filled orbital. So they did not take part in any chemical reactions. You have to remember this point also. This is clear, all of you? Then we are moving to D block elements. Okay, D block elements. D block elements. What's the common name of these D block elements? Which groups belongs to this D block elements, children?
Transitional.
Which one?
Transitional elements.
Yeah, transition elements. Very good. Transition elements. They belongs to D block category. It is from group 3 to 12. Group 3 to 12, they belongs to the category of D block elements. D block elements. Okay. Then we can check the electronic configuration. Okay. Check the electronic configuration. We can do one example. Vanadium. Vanadium. What about the atomic number of vanadium? It's 23. Okay, vanadium, its atomic number is 23. So we can write the configuration 1s2, 2s2, then 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Then after 3p6, which is the next orbital? After 3p6, which is the next orbital? 4s or 3d?
4s.
Yes, 4s. After 4s, you can write 3d because 4s has lesser energy compared to 3d. 4s2, then 3d. Yeah, 3d, 3. So here the last electron enters to d orbital or d subshell. So this one belongs to d block element. Okay. This one belongs to d block element. Then we can learn the properties. Properties. They will form colored compounds. Form colored compounds. Copper sulfate, it is blue in color. This copper is the member of D block element. Then ferrous sulfate, it's green in color. It's the member of this ferrous. Iron is the member of D block elements. So these D block elements, they have a property to form colored compounds. Then they have variable oxidation states. Variable oxidation states. What do you mean by oxidation state or valency? What do you mean by the term oxidation state or valence? Sometimes this oxidation state or valency, it is the number of electrons present in outermost shell. Or otherwise, the number of electrons needed to complete the outermost shell. These two numbers are generally considered as their oxidation state in normal elements. But in the case of this D block elements, they will show variable oxidation state. Example, iron, Fe. It will show +2 oxidation state while reacting with some elements. Then it also shows +3 oxidation state, +1 also. This ion is the member of D block elements or transition elements. So they form colored compounds. They show variable oxidation state or valence. Okay. Then they have catalytic property. Catalytic property. What do you mean by catalytic property or catalyst? What's the peculiarity or speciality of this catalyst? It is a substance that alters or increases or enhances the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any chemical change. Okay, catalyst, it's a substance which enhances the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any permanent chemical change. After this chemical reaction, we can able to collect this catalyst as it in its initial state itself. Clear? Catalyst is a substance which alters the rate of a chemical reaction without undergoing any permanent chemical change. So these D block elements, they have a capability to act as a catalyst. That is catalytic property. Clear? So these D block elements, they form colored compounds, variable oxidation state there, then catalytic property. Then one more, that is paramagnetism. 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 That means they have unpairs. Sorry. That means they have no pair there. Paramagnetism, they will exist as single, no pair there. Diamagnetism is the term used for paired one, and this paramagnetism, that means single one, no pair. So this D block elements exhibit paramagnetism. Clear? So these all are properties of D block elements. They form colored compounds, variable oxidation state or valency. They have catalytic property. They shows paramagnetism. These properties are special compared to other blocks. Okay, they form colored compounds, variable oxidation state or valency, catalytic property, paramagnetism. This is clear? So, Navneet, can you tell me the properties of D block elements?
Colored compounds,
Yeah.
variable oxidation state,
Yes. Then?
catalytic property, paramagnetic.
Yeah. Catalytic property, then paramagnetism. Then the last block it is. Yeah. Yeah.
And what is paramagnetism?
Paramagnetism means when the substances it undergoes magnetic field. Okay, they should align in single pairs. Okay, there are two choices there. They can align in pairs or unpaired. In the case of paramagnetism, they will exhibit as unpaired. Okay, there are no pairs for this. So it will shows paramagnetism. Clear?
Yes,
The
ma'am.
influence of magnetic field, they will exhibit a single alignment. That's it. No pair along with this. That's it. Then last one is F block elements. You can write F block elements. Which groups comes under this F block elements?
Lanthanides and actinides.
Yeah, lanthanoids and actinoids. They are known as inner transition elements. Okay, inner transition elements. Lanthanides and actinoids. Elements after lanthanum is known as lanthanoids. Okay. Then elements after actinium, they are known as actinoids. Then here also the last electron enters to F orbital or F subshell. Then they have high melting and boiling point. Have high melting and boiling point. Usually we are not using this F block elements for any chemical reactions. Okay. But you have to remember there is one F block element that's in the periodic table. There, these two rows are in separate from the entire row. And they are known as inner transition elements. Two groups are there, lanthanides and actinoids. Elements after lanthanum, they are known as lanthanides, and elements after actinium, it is known as actinoids. And they have high melting and boiling point. This is the property of F block element. Okay. Then one more point, the non-metallic character. Okay, it's a general point. Non-metallic character increases as we move from left to right in a periodic table. Left to right in a periodic table. Okay, because we learned S block elements are metals, then generally the P block elements are non-metal. So as we move from left to right, the non-metallic character increases. This is clear, children? Different blocks and their properties related to electronic configuration. So which are the different blocks, Buddha?
S block, P block,
Yeah.
F block, E block.
Yeah, S, P, D and F blocks. Then which are the groups that comes under S block, Lakshmi?
Group 1 and 2.
Yeah, group 1 and 2. Alantina, what's the name of group 1 and group 2?
Alkaline metals and alkaline earth.
Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. Then what about the properties of this group? Sorry, S block elements, Tushar. Can you tell me any two property?
It has low melting point and boiling point.
Okay, then
Are ionic in nature.
ionic in nature. Then which groups comes under the P block elements, Alina? Alina Jason? P block. Yeah. Alina Varghese, can you tell me?
From 13 to 18.
Yeah, from group 13 to 18. What's the name of group 18, Shabari? Group 18.
Noble gases.
Noble gases. Then what about group 17, Freya? Group 17. Shreya, can you hear me? Shreya? Elaine, group 17?
Halogen.
Yeah, halogens. Then what about group 16, Naurin? Yeah, chalcogens. Then which groups comes under this D block elements? Gaia? D block? 3 to 12. What's the common name of this group 3 to 12, Pooja?
Transition elements.
Yeah, transition elements. Then tell me any two properties of this group, sorry, D block elements, Emmeline.
Colored compound and variable oxidizing state and valency or valency.
Okay, they form colored compounds, then variable oxidation state, then two more points, the paramagnetism, and they show catalytic property. Okay, then what about F block elements? Which are the groups that comes under F block elements? Ardra? Ardra. Can you hear me? Ardra? Switch on your videos, children. Devika, can you tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
F block element?
Inner transition metals, that is lactinoids and
Actinoids. Okay. Then we can discuss the remaining portion in the next class. Do you have any doubt? Okay. Let me take your attendance. Just wait. Okay, I'm repeating once again. Do you want to repeat any topic from second chapter or this chapter? You can freely ask me. Okay. Even in the WhatsApp, I will include that topic in the next class. Okay. Then thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.